But okay, guys, that was Shadow Seas. Now let's move on to the last final villain team a little bit. Last final team are technically villains for the race saviors, but they're also technically superheroes at the same time. But okay, anyways, the next team that I'm going to introduce is the new race saviors, or the Bay Savengers. I don't know if that's how you spell it that way, but that's how I made it. Okay. Now, of course, you're probably looking at this like, oh, it's a gender swap version of the race saviors. Well, technically, it's more like an evil version of the race saviors from a different universe. But I have two different stories that about these base Savengers, or the new race saviors. And what inspired me though was, of course, like I wanted to make like an evil version of the race saviors where they can fight like their own evil side clone version, I guess. And I wanted the supervillain name to sound a little familiar to the race saviors, and then I decided to call it the Base Savengers. And I don't know if that's how you spell Scavenger, but I guess that's how you say it. Now, I will say what inspired me to create this team was, of course, again, the idea is that I wanted the race saviors to fight like another evil version of the race saviors. But I will say the Rowdy Rough Boys from Powerpuff Girls and the Saja Boys from K-pop Demon Hunters, they are the ones that inspired me to create the Base Savengers, or the new race saviors. I say it in quotation marks because there's technically two different stories about the Base Savengers or the new race saviors. But let me introduce the characters first. So, of course, you got the female version of Asylum. Of course, you got the boy version of Light, the girl version of Black Dune, the boy version of Wind, the girl version of Player, the boy version of December, and last but not least, the girl version of Werewolf. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys can see that they have the word new in their first name, like, of course, like, New Asylum, or, you know, you guys can go ahead and call her, like, She Asylum, like, you know, like how there's She-Hulk and there's regular Hulk. I don't know, y'all can call her whatever y'all want. But I decided to call them, like, new race saviors, like New Asylum, New Light, New Black Dune, New Wind, New Player, New December, and New Werewolf. Here's my drawing of all of the base Savengers that I did in my journal on paper. This is all of them. Let me make sure I got it. Okay, that's all of them. Yep, that's them. Yep, that's the base Savengers. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys the two origin stories that I have about the base Savengers, or the new race saviors. I'm gonna start off with the first one. Now the story for this first one is obviously kind of inspired by the New Avengers. In this story, the old race saviors, which was like the first race saviors, like of course the boy version of Asylum, all of those characters are actually now grown up, and this story takes place in the future. And the new race saviors, most of these new race saviors, like New Asylum and New Light, some of them are actually like the sons or daughters of the old race saviors, because the old race saviors are now grown up. Like New Asylum is actually the daughter of the old Asylum. And the new race saviors, like when they find out that they were actually born with these powers, they start trying to become the new race saviors. And of course, you might also wonder who's the bad guy, who's the villain for this story. Well, the bad guy for this story is, of course, this character, Elemental. I'll explain her origin story in a minute. But okay, that was the first story. Now I'm going to go on to the second story that I made. This is the second story of how they became the base Savengers. In this story, the old race saviors, like this race saviors that I'm showing you guys, the first ones, they take place in their universe. But the new race saviors, they live in their own universe. And their world and their whole universe gets destroyed by Elemental, Master Kill, and Paintball. And they're forcing the new race saviors, and they change their name to the Base Savengers, and they're forcing them to be evil. And they're forcing them to fight the old race saviors in their universe. And it's gonna be a little sad though, because New Asylum, she still had a dad that was the old Asylum from the past in her universe. But it's like she's going back in time to the past, to this universe where she gets to meet her dad, but it's him as a teenager, which is the old Asylum. And of course, like, the race saviors and the base Savengers, they will like fight each other, and like there will be like some parts in the story where they team up to fight Elemental, Master Kill, and Paintball, because they're the main bad guys of the story. But alright guys, that was it. That was all the superheroes and all the villains that I introduced. Now let's move on to the other extra characters that I made that are technically side characters.